Good morning. I wanted to just do a short recap. We'll wait for somebody at least to get online here. I wanted to do a recap on yesterday's afternoon in court, and as well as CL Camp Liberty Trio, and the progress and how we can start moving forward. But some of my thoughts on this whole court case, I don't know how this is going to come out. I didn't have any plans so yesterday, of course, it started out with this Tony, who was the director of all the information and communications at the Bunkerville standoff and the Gold Butte operation is what the federal entity is calling the Bunkerville standoff. But and one thing that comes to mind through all of this is every single one of the witnesses that are actually getting up on the stand, every single one of them is a federally paid employee. The investigator was directed to the possible evidence shredding and evidence destroying situation, was directed by Myrie, and during his testimony, he stated on the stand in open court that he was taking information from Myrie in good faith. Okay, and to me, that's a direction that you're not supposed to go when you're an investigator. It doesn't matter what your job is, to find out the truth. Your job is not to just take the word of an individual into account. You need to find out the truth. There needs to be documentation. There needs to, you need to speak with multiple people to find out the truth. And when you accept the word of one individual as fact, that's not doing your job. And so it also came out that Dan Love stated that on the 11th, when they got the word that armed hostiles were going to be there to basically take back the possessions that were stolen from them, that there was a complete sweep and everything was destroyed, everything was removed. And then later on, this Tony, who was in charge of the destruction of these important papers, and stated that did not happen, that there was no rush, that there was no feeling of urgency to destroy anything. And she also said that there wasn't anything destroyed on the 12th or the 11th, or after they got the order to cease and desist operations, there was no urgency to go through and destroy everything. So there in itself is conflicting. It's completely conflicting. So the judge has granted the defense the opportunity for more witnesses, because she feels that they didn't get to the bottom of the situation. They didn't get all the information and so on and so forth. So, and I'm thinking it's on the 3rd. There was such like the last 3 or 4 minutes of court yesterday, 12 dates were thrown out. I guess there's a 1,000-page petition filed by Ryan Payne. It's another evidentiary or a hearing that the government has been given 1 month till either the 11th to go through and find, deal with all the information and have a counter towards that petition. So, and I have questions as to what's going on. They're continuing with the October 30th date for the jury selection. Okay. And so my questions is there are petitions still in the works for dismissal. This whole evidentiary hearing, they're going to go ahead and choose the jury when they haven't concluded these proposals for dismissal. It makes no sense to me. And so I don't understand it. And so up until the trial, and I'm not sure, is it, I think the trial begins on November 3rd. I'm not sure. And I'll get all that information out to everybody, as soon as I can. So it's all just kind of a jumble, and I don't understand how it is that the American people is allowing this to continue. When you have obvious coercion from the prosecution, and investigators that are taking the word of the prosecution, and all of these witnesses are federal witnesses, and then the whole Dan Love issue, who is no longer a BLM officer. He is no longer employed by the federal government, or so we've been told, became a hostile witness for both sides. So if you look at all the facts, and if you look at everything that's going on in this court case, there's just so much not right about this. And then, and I also wanted to, the demeanor of Myrie last night. It was like watching a little kid. It's not fair. It's not fair. Really? You're a full-grown man in a place of power, and you want to stand in front of the American people and start spewing it's not fair? It's not fair. It's not fair that you guys can just come in and destroy a family and destroy their livelihood. And it's been happening across America. It's been happening to, I mean, how many ranchers have they put out of business? 53 in the Nevada ranching. It is not fair. It is not fair that the Hammonds are sitting in prison for a common practice when they tried to save their own ranch. It's not okay that Uranium One's in collusion with the federal government. And it's not okay that all of this stuff is coming out and the tyrannical behavior still continues. It's not okay. I'm appalled by by a government that's supposed to have the people's back. That's what we pay you for. So it makes no sense to me. None of this makes sense to me. And it's just plain as the nose on your face, the actions of these people. So I don't understand. So yes, the jury selection is going to commence on October 30th. And the other, I think they said 3 to 4 witnesses for this evidentiary hearing is going to be on the 3rd, I believe. And then, I think the 1,000-page, petition, filed by Ryan Payne, the prosecution's going to be able to dispute that on the 11th. Now, if these are wrong, please update me and let me know. I'm thinking that that's correct information, but I don't have my notes in front of me like an idiot. And that takes me on to the next issue. Camp Liberty Trio. I've been trying to juggle going to court and going to Camp Liberty Trio and trying to, work for other Patriot friends and raise money so that I can eat and survive. And I'm doing it, and I'm not complaining at all. It's just, it's a lot easier if Patriots, and what's really going on is I haven't, nobody but Bob, bless his heart, has actually come to Camp Liberty and offered to help at all. There's been multiple people say that they're on their way. There's been multiple people that say, and the funding situation has been okay. There are materials there for me to move forward, but like I said, I've been in court for the past week up until today, and today I wanted to get this video out, and then I'm going to be over there at Camp Liberty working. My fiance, has been coming there and helping it, and I love her to death. I really do, people. She's been supporting and helping me in that aspect and in every aspect. So, but we do need to get the paint. We do need to get, there's going to be odds and ends that we're going to need to have. We're going to have electric, we're going to have water, we're going to have the garbage situation that we need to contend with, and those are some of my concerns. And so we need to try to start lobbying for these things, because depending on how long this trial goes, we're going to need to make these things happen. And I'm not like I said, I'm not trying to complain or whine or anything like that. So, and if it wasn't for a couple friends of mine, I would not have been able to make it back and forth and around. And they say that they haven't done anything, but they have. And those of us that know who they are, they're amazing people. And it's the amount of people that I've run into that are just amazing people. And then there's the trolls and everybody else. So I mean, it's just like life. There's good things, there's bad. And I guess Kathy Brady, I heard that there's going to be 41 witnesses, and that's the list of witnesses. There's 41, so it's going to be a lengthy trial. There was talk. There was actually talk of it going 7-8 weeks, but that was when we had 6. That was before Scott and Eric pled guilty to the misdemeanor obstruction charge, and that's a whole nother deal for me. Yeah, I mean, you don't know how much it just crushed me, and I understand. Like I said before, I understand why they took this plea, because their families, and I understand completely. But to hear good men agree that they had broke the law for standing for their neighbor, for coming to stand up against wrong, it was crushing. It really was crushing. But okay, back to the length of the trial. We don't exactly know. They were saying 7 to 8 weeks, but they took away 2, so that's going to eliminate some time. So I'm thinking probably 4, 5, 6 weeks. I'm not sure. The court was going over the dates very quickly. Yeah, and it was all pretty confusing, because like I said, in the last 3 or 4 minutes of court, they just started throwing dates out. And I mean, and they were going over it so quickly. The judge had already scooped up all of her things and was walking off the stand, or her whatever, the throne, or whatever they want to call that. She was walking off when these dates were thrown out. So but I do think we have them right. And I got a couple people saying, yeah, that's what they are. So, and yeah, the trolls are doing everything they possibly can to keep Camp Liberty Trio from helping others. They are doing, and that's another issue that I'm kind of questioning is, why is MD Lauder all of a sudden now coming to court? I don't understand it. She showed up the day that Peets and Tilly pled guilty to a felony, which is a whole nother deal. But I firmly believe that Pete's got something up his sleeve, that he's something big. So, yeah, and you're right, Mo. They're with that petition that they have, that they've filed every court case, all three of them, basically stifling any defense, or they cannot tell the jury why they did anything they did. They cannot bring up anything that the federal government, anything that the federal government initiated, any force that the government uses, any wrongdoing by the federal government. Our defendants are not allowed to bring up. And it's sickening. It really is sickening. So how are they supposed to have a defense? And even with that, even with them not being able to bring up any defense, any actions by the federal government against the American people, they've still been found not guilty. So that should tell the American people something. We've got 6 to 8 weeks. I'm thinking it's going to be 5 to 6 weeks because of the elimination of Eric and Scott. Okay, hold on one sec here. Yeah, and Pete's going to be announcing some announcements he's going to have from his first show. So definitely watch for his updates, and I think he's got something up his sleeve. And I'd like to say, during the occupation in Burns, one of the main reasons I got involved, and it's just a little story. As many people know, I worked at the gas station, the only gas station in Burns that was open 24 hours. And I watched what happened, and I saw the difference between what I was seeing out the front door of my home and what was going on in TV. And that was one of the main reasons why I got involved, because I used to be one of those type of people that was like, all these conspiracy nuts are just that, nuts. And I just got to say that after a couple days of what happened in my hometown of Burns, Oregon, I was blown away, and I saw the complete and total false narrative that the mainstream media, and they even took my words and just destroyed it. Uh-oh, here comes the woman. She's bringing me my notes. Okay, hold on a sec. Thank you, love. But I saw the unbelievable way that the mainstream media was just warping, twisting, and flat out lying about what was going on in my hometown. I got to see it firsthand. And then I started wondering about all of them. Everything. Waco, Texas, Ruby Ridge. And then I started getting into the facts about my hometown. And might be a little bit long, but this needs to be said. I was born in Burns, Oregon, and the first 8 years of my life, I lived in Burns, Oregon. I was foster care and all this other stuff. But the first years of my life, Burns, Oregon was an awesome place to live. Awesome place to live. The mill was running. My granny worked at the mill. My uncle worked at the mill. I do believe my aunt worked at the mill. And all the businesses in town were open Friday nights. I mean, all the doors were open. Everybody knew everybody. Everybody watched everybody's back. Through my childhood, I went into foster homes outside of Hardin County. And so when my mom's rights were terminated, she gave me up, whoever wants to believe whatever they want to believe. I was moved from there to Lane County. And then at the age of 14, I went back to Burns. And this is after the mill shut down and after the federal government came in and shut down all of the natural resources, the mill, the mines, everything was shut down. I got to go back and forth from Eugene, Portland, and I came back every 2 or 3 years, and I got to see it wasn't the steady decline, but it was the portion decline. I didn't, every time I went back, I got to see more decay. My granny, who worked tirelessly and was living in shambles. She was going from the federal government's hand, and all the city officials just crushed the community. And so yeah, all of this played a factor in. And then I started looking at the facts and going through the court records. The Hammonds, I knew Stephen Hammond. I know Stephen Hammond. We'd talked at the gas station. We'd met. And the good people, all good people, great people. And just to see what the mainstream media was spewing about these people, what the mainstream media was spewing about Ammon, Ryan, Lavoie, all the occupiers, was complete and total false. Everything was false. The federal agents came in and shut down the schools, blamed it on the people that were 35 miles out of town, blamed it on them. And put snipers on the schools. They were pulling over elderly people and putting boots in the back of their necks. Traffic stops turned into a military attack. Look at what they did to Lavoie without a warrant. And this is all created by a federal government. Judge Stephen Grasty has ties with, and he's, from what I hear, this may be false, but from what I hear, he's not going to be running for judge in Burns next year because he's going to Washington. So, how do we not attach all of this and the facts? How is it that we have the ability to get this information out now? And why aren't we? What are we doing? This should be everywhere on the streets, every town, because every state is affected by what they're doing. And at what point did our lands become BLM owned? It's not the, Bureau of Land Management. And look at how they're managing our forests. How many miles of forest just burnt to the ground last year and the year before? I don't understand how it is that the American people are just sitting here sitting on their hands. We need to get off our hands. Our hands need to be on these phones speaking the truth, because they can't stop all of us. They can't stop everybody from moving forward. They cannot stop all this information from getting out. And we need to, We need to come together and realize that they're using money, they're using resources, they're using everything that they have at their disposal, and now they're using Uranium One, Russia, they're using all of this to attack the American people. They're funding Antifa. They're using our youth, misguided youth, to attack the American people. We'll see what happens on November 4th. Why can't America open their eyes and see what's going on? And you're right, Kathy, we can't do it all alone. And I know it's a process. But and this is a process that the federal government has had a jump on for years. I saw an ad in I don't know if it was in a magazine or a book or whatever from the 60s that showed anybody that's been to Burns or knows where Burns is. There's a place called Radar, and it's the old military base up on the hill. Okay. In the 60s, I saw an ad, I think it was a newspaper, or either a newspaper or whatever else, showing a clipboard overlooking the Burns Valley right there. And it says something along the lines, something about progressing a future or something like that. And it was the Burns Valley. And I don't know exactly what it meant, but it was a federally sponsored ad in a newspaper from the 60s, basically stating that this is what the federal government's going to do. So this has been an ongoing issue for many, many years, and it's coming to a head. And when you step into these, I'm after Burns, I went to go stand for Joe Robertson. I started traveling around and to Washington, to Nevada, to Montana, I've been all over. And it's funny that when I speak with people that don't understand and don't know what we're going through, every single time it gets worse and worse. You hear people, oh, well, that just can't happen. That's not legal. They can't do that. But they are. They are doing it, and they continue to do it, and they're getting bolder and bolder and bolder. So what do we do about it? We need to get the information out. We need to continue to lobby. We need to continue to dig. Lazaro, I don't remember his last name right now, but somebody could probably, during the Burns occupation, he uncovered a trail, okay, which needs to be brought back to the table. All of the paper trail needs to be brought back to the table, because now, lo and behold, the mainstream media is now bringing to light to the rest of the American people that this Uranium One scandal is true. And the paperwork that was found at the refuge in Burns, Oregon, showed a direct link. It showed a direct link to Uranium One from Harney County. Okay? Harney County was the most profitable in I think it was tri-state area. Okay, back in the 70s. In the 60s and 70s was the most profitable county in Oregon, and I think it was the tri-state area. Okay, then the government stepped in and took away everything. Okay, over 53% of the working class in Harney County now works directly for the federal government. And then you have, you know, the people that work at the gas stations, like myself, and the stores, which is only like 20%. And the rest of them are on Social Security, are on welfare, because there is no work. They've taken away the ranches, they've taken away the logging, they've taken away everything that made my hometown and everything I love just obsolete. And so, and it's happening. If you don't live in the big city anymore, if you do not live in the big city, it's impossible for you to survive. It's impossible for you to make, unless you're a prepper, unless you know how to live off the land. If, you know, you're not going to make it. All these rural areas, it's impossible. And then now to start up a business, you have to pay the federal government thousands and thousands of dollars. If you want to build a home, you have to pay the federal government thousands and thousands of dollars just for the right to build a home. And now, where are you supposed to build your home? The government's taking control of all of the unused land in our states. And it's over 90% of Nevada is owned by the Bureau of Land Management. Think about it for a minute, people. We're being overrun. We, the people of the United States, are being overrun. They're stealing our land. They came in under the cloak of helpful individuals and stole our land. They're locking it up. We're not allowed to go out and enjoy fishing, hunting. We're not allowed to do this. Yeah, or to sell a home, right, Mo? Why is it that we're having to pay them more money? And more money, and more money, and more money. And what are they using this money for? That's another thing. What are they using this money for? We have to pay taxes on the land. Okay? Where is this money going? Where's it going? When the BLM was founded, from my understanding, these grazing fees and these things that, you know, the money that was going into the BLM was supposed to be for, you know, water upkeep and helping ranchers and landowners. Where is that? Where does that play into today? And and I agree 100% with Cliven. Everybody believes that he did not pay his property taxes. He wrote a check. He wrote a check to the state of Nevada. The state of Nevada, because of the federal government, the threatening federal government, did not accept the check. Did not cash the check because it wasn't paid to the rightful entity. Isn't it the state of Nevada's grass? It is the state of Nevada's grass. So why is he being forced under threat of violence? And that's what this government does. It forces us. Look at the taxation. Look at the taxes. Look at the everything. I mean, driving down the road. Driving down the road. Every officer of the law is now basically militarized. Why? It doesn't make any sense to me. Because aren't we all supposed to be equals in the eyes of God? Aren't we? People are supposed to be able to have the same rights than the next person. Why do I not have the right to defend my own life or my family's? Why? And why is the government trying to take away that right? So, I don't believe in what the government's doing at all. I don't believe, I used to have some kind of faith that they were actually on our side, but they're not. They are not. So what are we going to do about it? How are we going to bring it to light? And I think this Uranium One deal and everything needs to be pressed. But you know, how many times have they? Oh, there's an investigation in the works. The FBI's investigating the FBI. The government's investigating the government, just like the court case that's happening here in Nevada against the Bundys. So it's us against them. Period. That's the only logical conclusion that I can come up with. That it's us against them. And if we don't agree with what they are putting forward, they'll come arrest you. They'll come kill you. They'll come shoot your cattle. They will come, and then they'll put you in prison for the rest of your life. None of these men harmed another individual that are sitting in prison right now and have been for 2 years. None of them. Murderers get out on bail. And we'll bring up one of the most famous, the football player. I can't remember his name right now because my mind's going on other things. But how many murderers, how many people that went out and took the lives of an innocent individual have been out on bail? Well, yeah, I agree with you, Kathy. We need to form a research group and start investigating the FBI. But you don't think that they're going to fight that from the word go? And by fight that, I mean if we do set one up, every single one of them will probably kill themselves. You know, 2 shots to the back of the head with a shotgun. And yeah, I'm talking about O.J. Simpson. You're right, though. And then why is it so secretive in the courtrooms? Aren't the courtrooms supposed to be a place where the truth comes out? Why is it that the O.J. Simpson trial was televised across America, across the world? But this situation with the Bundys isn't televised. None of it is on the mainstream media. Why is that? Why is it that we accept that the morning of the standoff in Bunkerville from 9 o'clock to 2:30, why do we accept that there is no audio, there is no video? And well, that's because of human error. How many FBI agents were there? How many law enforcement individuals were there? And the only thing that's coming out is that the very few videos and that other people have been able to interject into personal media onto Facebook about what the FBI, the BLM, and the federal animal, which includes the Las Vegas Metro Police Department. How is it that those are the only ones? How is it that we're accepting this as a fact? Okay, well, it was human error. Okay, well, you know, that's yeah, and you're right. It's because it exposes their treason. And it exposes them stepping over our constitutional and God-given rights. And once that happens, I think we need to load up a petition and demand that this whole court case be televised. Period. I'm so tired of seeing what I see and then coming out and hearing other Americans that don't know what's going on, that haven't taken the time to go sit in a courtroom. I'm so tired of hearing them say, oh, that can't be happening. That's just not possible. My mom and dad, my adopted mom and dad, who I love dearly, both retired college professors, continuously tell me that there's no way that's happening. It's against the law. It's against the Constitution. The Constitution's an unfinished document. Blah, 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 blah. There's no way that any of these people are going to understand what's really going on in our courtrooms unless we fight to get it publicized. Okay, what Kathy, isn't there a difference between awake and choosing not to do anything and not awake and oblivious? Oh, I believe so, yeah. I mean, I believe that there are a lot of people that are awake and they see what's going on, but they know what the possible outcome of them standing and saying or doing anything is going to be. Right. And then there's the other ones that aren't going to put a step forward, because I think we've gotten so far from loving our neighbor, and we've been conditioned to believe, you know, comply, comply, comply. Don't question, don't, you know, comply, 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 do it, or we will kill you, or we will lock you up. And until it happens to them or it happens to somebody they love and care about, they're not willing to do anything. And unfortunately, that usually means your immediate family. So, and there are some of us that care about human people, humans, period. And it's because God told us to care about our neighbors. So we care about our neighbors. And, you know, with me, it's a lot easier. It was a lot easier. Now, you know, times are different and things are going on in my life but it's not gonna stop me from doing what I feel is right. But, you know, you have families, you have routines, and until the government does something extremely drastic, like push the panic button and martial law or whatever else, people aren't going to understand the hardship of this, because they go to work every day. They put blinders on, and all they see is what's right in front of them. And, you know, their children need the next version of the iPad or the next computer or the next cell phone, or people want to get the next, you know, the upgraded version of their vehicle, or they want to build another home. And none of that would be possible, because it's not possible without getting a grant from the federal government, or, you know, people going to school. How is it that going to school costs you hundreds of thousands of dollars and you need to go beg the federal government for an education? How is this possible? The subpoena, actually, that Ryan Payne's attorney said was coming has been given, and it's a private subpoena. So it's not going to be that's what I believe that's what the November 11th court hearing is about, and it's a 1,000-page petition or subpoena. So that's the whole deal that Myrie was standing there screaming, "It's not fair, it's not fair, it's not fair," was this 1,000-page document that they need to research and have a dispute. So, and yeah, it is December 11th is when that's supposed to be coming out. I don't know if that's going to be a public hearing or if that's going to be a private hearing. I don't know that information yet. So, but we need to wake up, people. We need to wake up, and we need to find out exactly what it is that we can do as a whole, as an American people, as we the people. And I know it's a slow process, and a lot of us are actually frustrated, and because we all want, you know, instant gratification. We want this stuff to stop. We want it to end. But this has been many, many years in the making, and the government has been fulfilling their plan for many, many years. And we need to bring up, and we need to start subpoena. We need to start going to courts. I implore anybody that's watching, anybody that watches this in the future, get down to your courthouse. Find out the tyrannical behaviors of both county, state, and federal governments. Witness for yourself the tyrannical behavior of these individuals. Get involved with your state. You know, Kate Brown's signing off documents, you know, taking our guns. If anybody, if they get a report from a family member or anybody that there's some kind of fear as to this individual who has guns, they can go to your home, take all of your guns, because somebody's in fear. Somebody's concerned about this individual and their guns. So, and you know, Maureen, I know Maureen's seen all of this. She's a soldier for 16 years in the U.S. military, U.S. Army, and she's seen this. She's tried to bring it to light, and she continues to bring it to light. And I love her to death. She's my sister, and we're going to continue to bring this to light. And fortunately, this thing with Uranium-1 is slamming a bunch of eyes open. And people that won't believe anything that until the mainstream media comes out with it, Fox News, CNN, whatever, they're beginning to realize that this stuff's really happening. And that, believe it or not, the mainstream media is being directed and fed information. They are being fed the narrative. And these things are supposed to report the news. These corporations are supposed to report the news, what's happening in the world. And guess what? They're getting paid to tell one side of the story. And that one side of the story has been manipulated by that side of the story. By the players in that side of the story. Just like Myrie directed this BLM investigator to investigate the possible destruction of documents by the federal government. So, think about that for a moment. And then you have the FBI investigating the FBI, who's investigating the Uranium-1 deal, and investigating the government officials, and coming back and saying, well, there seems to be no wrongdoing by the federal government. And yeah, this Uranium-1 deal is going to be the dynamite that blows this corruption wide open. And it's kind of frustrating for a lot of us, because we saw 2 years ago, and the main reason that the Oregon occupation happened, one of the main reasons, the main reason was the tyrannical behavior of the government towards the Hammonds and the attack on the Hammonds. But only second to that was the fact that the information leading directly to Uranium-1 through Harney County was kept and was available at the storage space out there at the Malheur Refuge. And bringing that information out was one of the main reasons they murdered Lavoie on the side of the road. And to anybody that doesn't know that in Portland, Oregon, they are, I'm not sure of the date, but I do believe it's the end of next month, 24th of next month or something like that. They are starting that prosecution of the hostage response officer that initiated the shooting of Lavoie is going on trial there in Portland, Oregon. And if I don't, other people will know that exact date, and it was shown to me earlier. I can't think of it right off the top of my head, because there's been so many dates slammed in my head in the past 24 hours that I'm just trying to get them all together. But, so, we need to get out there and do this, people. I need to get off this and go get some work done. I'm asking for some help in any way anybody can, whether it's, send a couple bucks, come down here and roll up your sleeves, or, any way that you can help. I want so badly to have this available for people that need to be here to support a great cause. And even if it's not completely finished, there are rooms that are completely finished. So it's available now. You can come down and stay, or else if you're not comfortable there at this point right now, we can find you a place to go, and we can all come together and get everybody down to court, or we'll make it work. We're patriots. That's what we do. We make it work. We do what we have to do. And so I'm gonna get off here. With all the dates and everything, I think I got all the information out that I have. So again, and if you can sit down for a couple minutes and write a note to our P3s that are sitting in prison, and that's always helpful. We've tried to go out and visit, but with everything that's going on, and out in Pahrump, they're only allowed one visit a week. So we haven't been able to go out and visit. We tried 3 or 4 times, and to no avail. But yeah, and there's a lot of homes out here that will open up their doors. So get here, show your support in any way, shape, or form, and it's always greatly appreciated. And love your neighbor. Love your neighbor. We need to love our neighbors. Just imagine, just think, every single one of them has a family. Every single one of them has daughters. They're the father of daughters and sons, and they are the sons and they are the sons. And everybody that's been affected by this tragic BS, initiated by a federal government that came in to steal. That's what they've done. Under the cloak of law, they've come in and stolen from the American people. Stolen the land, the resources, the uranium. And that's all they are, is thieves under the cloak of law. So we need to come up with a plan. And we need to put a stop to it. And I was just going to say we need to take back our lands, but we all know what that would entail. And that's not something that we need to do. We need to do it legally. We need to do it peacefully. And love our neighbor. And it's really hard for me because that all these FBI agents and everything are family too. They have sons, they have daughters, they are sons and daughters. And, we're supposed to love all our neighbors, and it's kind of hard sometimes God puts something in front of us that's a very hard thing to do. And loving our neighbor is kind of hard to do sometimes. But good Lord says we have to. So we got it. I'm gonna get off here. Hey, Red, how's it going, man? I've been on here for quite a while. I need to get to work. So I love everybody, and God bless. And anything and everything helps. Get involved. Bye.